Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video, want to cover the topic of selling during a bad economy. This is an excuse that a lot of people will make about either not starting their business or taking their time starting their business, is that they'll say it's a bad economy. This is a bad time to be starting a business. So I should just wait until things get better until I decide to kind of take that shot and start my home-based business. And the truth is that you can start a business really during about any economy. This point was driven home to me from a story that I heard, oh gosh, probably about 30, 40 years ago. I was working at a church and the pastor was having lunch with two of the secretaries. And they were talking about the old times, the Great Depression. And the secretaries were both raised in households where during the Great Depression, their mothers, their grandparents had to stand in soup lines in order to eat during that period. It was a very tough time in American and world history. And they're swapping stories about how tough the Great Depression was. And this church pastor came from a rather affluent family, and he shared his experience of the Great Depression. He looked at them and he said, yep, that was a hard time. My family had to sell one of our yachts during the Great Depression. And the two secretaries heard that story and they couldn't believe it. It blew their mind. But the nugget of wisdom that I walked away from was this. During the Great Depression, yes, there were a lot of people who were doing poorly, who were standing in soup lines, who could barely, keep things going. But there were also people during the Great Depression who were selling yachts and people who were buying yachts. So during one of the worst times economically in American history, we still had people who were buying and selling, of all things, yachts, as well as people who were standing in soup lines. So the lesson that I take from this is that when you are trying to start a home-based business, don't use the excuse that it's hard to sell because it's a bad economy. You have to learn how to network with people a lot better. Instead of networking with people who are broke, who cannot afford your product or service, learn to network with the right people. Learn to network with people who have the money to put into your product, to use your service, to join your business. Don't network with broke people. Take the extra time that it takes to network with wealthier people who have the money to invest in whatever it is that you're selling. And the internet makes this super easy. Back during the Great Depression, we're talking about pre-internet days, and people were able to use the newspaper to find people who wanted to buy their yachts. Today, you can go online, you can go into Facebook groups, you can go into LinkedIn groups, you can mix it up, and you can network with folks who are a little bit higher on the economic ladder than you are, and see if they're interested in buying your stuff. So if you are in any kind of a home-based business, any kind of a sales business, or you're thinking about getting started in a home-based business or sales business, don't use the excuse that the economy is bad and I better wait for things to get better before I launch my business or before I get started in sales. There's always going to be a reason not to start. There will never be a perfect time to start your home-based business. But there is now. So learn how to do what you need to do in the now and take action. And that is the key to getting started in any kind of a business. Ralph signing out. We'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.